Welcome to the Mata-Nui Weekly, Season 1, Episode 2. This episode will be featuring Lewahi, Mr. House, and Varric, as well as taking a brief look at the major events of the past week. Our Wahi of the week is Lewahi. Lewahi is the southern jungle portion of Mata-Nui. There are several actually koros there, two standing out in the most precedent. The first being Le Koro, which is hosting a musical festival soon, and has been the canon koro for the village of Air. However, Pala Koro, the village built by the Island Liberation Squad that eventually became the Island Liberation Force, has been broken since 2011, but regrouping and rebuilding. They're still forging, they're still making political connections, and Kethri is still trying his best to run things in Magic's place. In Kumu Inlets to the southeast is a group of islands that used to be the home of criminals and scallywags, or so we say it used to be the home. The Le Koro Wind Riders are the only aerial military group on the island, although they're supplying messenger kites to other Wahi, specifically Onu Koro, in technological deals. Our player of the week is Mr. House. Now, he is not the longest right poster. He does not post massive amounts of text very often. However, he understands dialogue, especially dialogue with an accent. He is among a select group of players in the RPG that are able to use a consistent accent, such as Sulav Maru, played by Mango, to coalesce the character and their past. However, Mr. House stands out this week for his use of different dialogue between Mons Shadis, or in Larrikin Torchbearer, or in any other of his characters that have shown up, since he has several across the island. They're all worth reading. So, congratulations, Mr. Haas, for being the player of the week. Straight from Pretty Boy Land, the character of the week is Varric. He is handsome, and humble-some. In fact, he'd fit in perfectly on the next episode of Free Iwatobi Swim Club, if only he'd stop leaning on the camera and flirting with swooning fangirls or playing with a giant tentacle monster into the Kumu Inlets. However, he's written excellently in the first person, and his cheek in dialogue often begs me to punch right back. He's got the suave tendency of a pretty boy. He thinks he's the perfect incarnate of anything around him. And he has an excellent way of being a complete jack at everyone else, and yet still being loved. Varric is excellently written this week, and so congratulations, Visaru, for your perfect depiction of a pretty boy this week. And now we come to our island-wide assessment of recent events this week. First, in Tawahi. Now, granted, if I'd known this was going to happen, I would have put Tawahi as the feature koro for this week instead of last week. But anyways, in Tawahi, we have the arrival of the Paraka. Yes, you heard that right. Those scallywags from Voyanui, they have arrived. We don't know if they've come from Voyanui, but they have arrived in a submersible. Thank you, AVAC. Now, the Paraka have all been infighting and are absolutely ugly and gloomy and full of flashing teeth and weaponry. Yes, they are. And yet, they're amazingly well written. Every single player who's been given one of these Paraka are excellent role players to begin with, and then they have taken their writing to a whole other level. The writing for Paraka is a completely different benchmark. I think you have to hit several thousand words to be able to play a Paraka. And yet, you've got to read them. They're great. Now, moving on, Grok and Karius have had a secret meeting in the Lava Pool Inn. Lava Pool Inn. Oh my god, it's not being torn down. Yay! Last week's post on the Lava Pool Inn actually did something about that. So, Grok and Karius have meet. Karis, who is played by Eru, is hiring Grok, played by Nuji Metru, to go ice Kethri. Ice Kethri. Anyways, so those are the two major things in Tawahi. In Garwahi for the week, Serena the Marine has been captured by an unknown Toa of Ice whose name I'm simply not recalling. However, they're both played by Kini Hakai, and suddenly we find ourselves with two drunk Marines, a Votoa who used to be a mark bearer, and a couple other people standing around a hut with Serena having ice in her mouth. So we've got a Marine capture situation there that the Marines might have to go bust down a door soon. Anyways, the Paladins in Garwahi are still practicing their elemental powers. And now, on to Lewahi. Joski and company have reached Lake Koro and speak to Akiri Kongu, Korero, and Sisk. After the pleasantries, they begin to talk about Echelon, learning the location of a Dark Toa bunker, a DTB, near an abandoned highway. DTB has a nice ring. The Kumu Inlets. Varric is sucked away by a DTK, Dai Tentacle Kaiju, for off-screen anime promos in Japan. Sages is pulled overboard with the DTK, plays with the rope attached to his waist, and Captain Iraira stands with the rest of her crew face-palming until someone posts a response. By the lighthouse, a mysterious figure fishes for a meal in the reefs. In Onuwahi, Melna's group is still wandering past Onukoro and headed back into the sunlight. In Dark Mine, Kree has been converted into a member by Larrikin Torchbearer of Akrayan's Brotherhood, taking the name Krigato. The Usuri is preparing for its next mission in Onukoro, and look forward for incredible, absolutely fabulous spiral power coming out of that at some point. In Kowagi, Riaro plays chess with Rekhan after reminiscing about her past while in the Citadel, and the Red Star group drinks hot chocolate and goes to sleep, because that is the best thing you can possibly do in a place covered in snow, besides have a snowball fight. Riarl is also hiring capable medical professionals to work in the Nuju Marillion Research Hospital. Please inquire with the Komatoran at the front desk. In Powaki, a few traitors have popped up in the Sentinels again. In fact, most characters in the Sentinels seem to be traitors. Akirihuki is recruiting more Sentinels to try and get rid of this problem. Also, Akirihuki and Jinyas have had a secret conversation about Terra, the heavy dose of rats in Huki's military, and Huki's title of Akiri. That is the weekly sum-up of Mata-Nui in-game. If you like the music for this entire podcast, by all means, buy a Mac. It's on GarageBand.